kind of what feels different heading into the season opener than last year's, one of your past? Just kind of what sticks out about this one?
Yeah, it's different than last year for sure. Like we talked about a couple weeks ago, we don't talk about last year much anymore. It's in the past, and that's done and over. But comparing to years prior, I've felt this excitement before. You kind of look around and you feel the energy in the building. You feel the confidence that the guys have right now and that our coaches have, I think. And it's encouraging, very encouraging. You're excited to get out there. Obviously, it's a process each day. You can only control today. And so just keep focused on the day at hand. Don't get too ahead of yourself. But there's definitely a lot of excitement, I feel like, right now. And, it's just today we got practice, so we got to be focused on Tuesday's practice.
Do you feel like you have complete command of the offense right now?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel good right now with the stuff that's in for sure. Me and Coach Freeze and Coach Austin and Coach Nix have all been talking about the stuff we have in, how we're reading it, what we might need to get to if they do this or that on defense. And then protection-wise, I feel really good with where I'm at there. And, we're on the same page with the checks and whatnot. And so I'd say I feel pretty in command right now.
Payton, how much has this defense from Durkin, how much has this helped you guys as an offense prepare for the season? Because we know you get a bunch of different looks. We saw a bunch of that too. How much does that help you get ready for a season?
It helps a lot, honestly. Different looks in the back end for our receivers and then different looks up front for sure for our offensive line. So in the run game, when you get different fronts and different stunts and stuff like that, it's good to practice those things throughout the year and or throughout camp. And obviously the spring as well. So it's been good experience, I feel like, for those guys, especially young guys, to kind of be thrown in the fire and learn along the way. And then hopefully, most teams we play are going to be, or I know most teams we play are going to be less multiple than you are in fall camp. And then you have a week to prepare for that on top of it. So it's been really good for our guys up front, for me too, seeing different things in the back end and having to get my eyes right and see what they're doing. So it's been fun competing against our defense, but I'm glad that we're done and we can all be on the same team again.
Brandon was just telling us that Coach Nix has a goal for you guys to get 40 points a game. Just kind of how feasible do you feel like that is heading into week one? And just kind of how do you guys think you're going to reach that goal throughout the season?
Yeah, I definitely think it's feasible. You look across the last 10 years or so, there's been plenty of offenses that have averaged over 40 points a game. You'd probably look more at SEC teams that have done that. Obviously different conferences, there's different styles of play and everything. So I haven't done that personally. I haven't gone back and looked at, the SEC points per game. But that's Coach Nick's goal. That's what he's put in front of us. And, that is going to be the goal every week. And so it's our job to get there. It's our job to prepare every week throughout the week to put ourselves in a chance to get there. And then when Saturday comes, you got to make the plays and you got to execute. So, like I said, I'd have to look at that research on teams that have done that. But I know there are plenty that have in the last however many years.
Payton, there's been a lot of off-season talk about the improvement in culture and chemistry and those things. What have you seen in that respect?
Yeah, I think we've spent a lot more time with each other over the past however many months it's been. And then obviously, year two, you get more like-minded guys together. Last year you have a hodgepodge of guys from old staff, new staff, transfers. It's a bunch of different personalities on the team. And then obviously this year with a new coaching staff in some places. And then also, Coach Freeze has brought in another group of his guys, transfers and freshmen. And you can tell the freshman group are very similar across the board in terms of their work ethic and what they value. And so when you get around like-minded people, you tend to spend more time with each other for one, and then two, you grow closer because you want to spend more time with each other because you're like-minded, and that's just that's life, and that's how I think things work outside of football too, and just groups of people. And so I think that we've definitely grown in that area, and guys are having fun right now in the building and outside of the building together.
How much impact does that have on what happens on the field?
A ton. My years of being around the game of football, as you guys know, my dad and my grandpa have been coaching my whole life. And so being around that game and seeing the importance of getting guys to truly enjoy being together and truly enjoy going to battle together. It's not just the 12 Saturdays in the fall thing. You have to show up every day throughout the whole year and, put your time on the line, put everything on the line together. And if you enjoy being together and you enjoy spending time with one another, you're going to do more for each other. And so that's extremely important. I'm a huge believer in that. And, I've been taught my whole life that the most important thing in life is relationships. And so you build those relationships and you're willing to go the extra yard for somebody. I know that's kind of cliche, but it's true.
Payton, how would you describe maybe your comfort level compared to 2021 when you had such a good season at Michigan State, some receivers and all that? Can you compare maybe how you feel about this offense or how you feel going into the season to how you felt? Because that was a good season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a similar feeling. There's a lot of things that I can look back on and compare to that season. And I've talked to guys about that. And so it's a good feeling. Obviously, it's different for me because I hadn't started. I started one game going into that season in my career, and now I've started, however many it is. And so I have a different comfort level with what I'm going to, feel comfortable doing personally. And the things that are going to happen this year are more so I've seen it happen before. And it's like I have something to lay it on top of versus 2021. Everything was pretty new, and so there are a lot of similar feelings. Obviously, there's different feelings as well, but I do think that you can compare a lot of the way I feel now to that year.
The more balanced the offense is, the more effective it is in most cases, right? So how comforting is it to have the SEC's leading returning rusher on your team?
Yeah, it's very, very comforting. Obviously, Jarquez has put the work in this offseason. He wants to be even better than he was last year, and I think he's done that so far to this point. And then, behind Jarquez, we got two more really good backs as well. And so it's kind of whoever's on the field, you feel really good about handing the ball off to them, and our guys up front are getting better each and every day. And as we figure out, the lineup and who works best with who, it's kind of like a basketball lineup, honestly. In the Olympics this past month or so, they were always talking about which matchups with who works best with who and that stuff. And the offensive line, I feel like it's kind of similar at times. A lot of communication that goes on up there, and so when those guys are on the same page and they're doing their job, it makes Jarquez, Damari, and Cobb's job easier as well. And you just got to get those guys a crease, and they're gonna do special things with the ball. So, like I said, Jarquez is really playing well right now. He's really tough to tackle, and you can say the same thing about Damari and Jeremiah as well.
Payton, what's your connection like with those young receivers, and how have you seen it improve from the start of fall camp until now?
Yeah, it's been really good. Having Cam and Bryce here in the winter, you got a few more months with them. Cam is an awesome guy. I really enjoy playing with him and enjoy just hanging out with him, honestly. I feel like we're very like-minded. He's a competitor, and that's probably what I like most about him, honestly. He works his butt off. He wants to be held accountable, and he wants to get better. And the guys that I've been around in my career, those are the guys that go the farthest and play the longest and make the most money, to be honest with you. And so I think, obviously, his future is very bright, but I see a lot of similarities in those guys in Cam, and it's really exciting. And then, the other three, Malcolm and Perry, showed up in the summer, so you try to get around them as much as you can and talk to them on the field as much as you can. Obviously, now it's a pretty decent age gap. Those guys are 5 years younger than me, which is crazy to think about, but there's still plenty of ways to relate to them. We're not that much of a difference in age, and obviously I've been a freshman before too, so I know how it is. But I feel like it's been a good relationship building time, and I'm looking forward to building more of a bond with those guys as the season goes on.
What have you seen from Hank Brown since he was named back up?
What was that, Hank Brown?
Yeah.
What have I seen from him?
Yeah.
He's been the same guy that he's been the whole time I've known him, honestly. Hank's a really solid guy. People talk about he comes from a really good family, which he does. He's also from Illinois, like me, so we have that in common. But he's been great. He's a friend of mine, and we spent a lot of time together, a lot of time on the golf course together. And then he calls me a bunch with questions. Hey, man, Walker, both. Asking about, hey, what are you looking at here? Hey, how you watching film here? Hey, when we get this look, why'd you make that call? And it's guys that are eager to learn and want to obviously prepare themselves to be ready when their time comes. And so it's been a joy playing with those guys. I think we have the best group of guys that I've for sure been around, and Coach Austin says the best group of guys he's ever been around too. So it's been fun in that quarterback room, and I'm looking forward to spending the next 4 months with these guys.
Who wins the golf match?
Between me and Hank?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I had to go back and look at our scorecards, but for the most part, I think I take it for the most part, but he wins. Hank loves winning money, so Hank always finds a way to squeak it out there on the golf course.
Freese said yesterday he thinks you're eager to prove some people wrong this season. Do you carry that kind of attitude?
A little bit, not too much. I've learned over the course of my career that the people on the outside, the people that honestly aren't even in the quarterback room itself, they don't really know what's going on, and that's no disrespect to anybody, but they don't. And so, even when in 2021, as you referenced earlier, and other times throughout my career, I've heard people say that I was doing something that I wasn't doing that they were giving me praise for. And so it's like, people on the outside, they really don't know, and they'll say you did a great job when maybe you didn't, and they'll say you did a terrible job when you didn't either. And so, I'm just looking to take this year to capitalize on everything God's given me and make the most of what I've been given. And that's been my goal my whole career. And for me, it's about winning games, but then also just doing the best that I can do personally and doing the best that we can do. And I feel like if you walk away from it knowing that, you can live satisfied the rest of your life. And so for me, I'm looking to prove myself right. I'm looking to prove the people around me right. I'm looking to give back to all the people that pour so much into me. Obviously, it starts with my family and then all the people close to me. And I want to give back to them all the time they poured into me. That's my main goal.